people doing so many amazing things in and around the county, and I'm so pleased to say joining us this afternoon is David Bainbridge. Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for coming on the show this afternoon. And you're going to be climbing a mountain. You're going to be summiting a mountain very, very soon.
Yes, we are.
Which one and why?
It's Mount Snowdon, and we're raising money for the Jubilee Sailing Trust's accessible tall ship, Tenancious. She's the only fully accessible tall ship in the world. And going to do it the hard way in a wheelchair. I'm a wheelchair user, and the route is considered, I've read inaccessible. I disagree with that, but it's all about teamwork.
You know it's much easier on the train, don't you, David?
I do, and however tempting that is, it's about showing that people with both able-bodied and disabled can come together and achieve what's considered impossible.
Will you have any adaptations to the wheelchair, or is it one of those ones that is sort of quite familiar with the two large wheels at the back and two small ones at the front?
Well, I'll be using my everyday chair, which is a rigid sports type chair. So I have the two large wheels at the back and two small caster wheels, which get caught in just about everything when it's on grass. And one of the very difficult sections of the climb is a section which has about 30 centimetres steps and rocks. So what we'll be doing is attaching a BMX frame bolted to the front of underneath my chair with a mountain bike wheel and with the addition of a hydraulic disc brake. So it'll actually turn my chair into a trike, and the team members will actually attach ropes and pull me.
Wowzers. Why did you decide to do this?
A couple of reasons, really. I'm used to, just as most people within a wheelchair or with Ehlers-Danlos will realise, every day is challenging. And it's as much about perception and changing perception with like-minded people and making this possible. Without the team who are going to help me do this and help Abby as well, none of this would be possible.
Remind us what EDS, Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, is.
Ehlers-Danlos, it's a connective tissue disorder. The easiest way to think of it is my connective tissue is defective, and connective tissue is the glue that holds our bodies together. Mine doesn't do it very well, so the first symptom I had age 3 and constant by the age of 6 was pain, severe chronic pain. It's just something I'm used to now. And at the age of 10, the dislocation started. My first dislocation was sitting on a bed, turned to one side when I was tying my shoelace, and my left knee fully dislocated. And that's been a daily occurrence with multiple joints, hips, knees, fingers, ribs, you name it. I can dislocate it. And also partially dislocate, which do more often, where the joint slips out of its socket and then goes back in again. Very painful for however long it's out, and then back in, and I can use it straight away.
It's quite a cruel syndrome because it won't always happen the same way, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. I imagine that just gives you a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of fear when you do things, because you never know quite when it is going to happen.
Absolutely. I've become the more aware. I didn't actually. I wasn't diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos until for the first 42 years, and part of the reason is they often look at medical history, and I'm adopted, so I had no medical history at the time. And it's also one of those that's not so common, and it has so many weird symptoms. It's very difficult to get a diagnosis. But no two of us, it's said, with Ehlers-Danlos have exactly the same symptoms, which obviously makes it even harder.
Have you been on the Jubilee Sailing Trust? Have you been on the boat?
Yes, I did my first and only voyage I've been on in July. It was actually a chance conversation at my local water sports centre last November that suggested the idea, and I sailed from Liverpool across to Dublin on a 10-day voyage, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Now, this thing goes round the world and is, as you say, it's fully accessible even to the top of the rigging. They've got special platforms and special lifts that can help you get up, and in the cabins there's sort of hammocks and there's accessible beds everywhere. Full disclosure, my mum used to volunteer on, it's Tenacious, isn't it?
Yes, it is,
yeah,
yes.
Tenacious. I think used to volunteer on Tenacious for the JST. So full disclosure there. But it's a brilliant boat. And what an impressive boat it is. It's a proper tool ship.
It's an absolute proper tool ship. And as a member of the crew, of the voyage crew, I was expected to do everything that anybody else did. And it was brilliant. I wasn't too keen on the 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. shift. I hauled myself just with my upper body strength to the first platform. That was tough. It's the most accessible environment I've ever been in, and that's not just from the point of view from the ship. I could go absolutely anywhere. But the voyage crew, the permanent crew, nothing was a problem, was adapted, or in fact it was quite boring in the end, because I'm so used to having challenges and having to problem solve that I was feeling quite bored because I just didn't need to. And
you sailed from, where was it? You sailed to Dublin?
I sailed from Liverpool across to Dublin via the Western Isles. So we went up to Islay and Jura, went ashore. That was an experience in a wheelchair being hoisted into a boat, going ashore that way. Just really good fun, and made some great friends.
Which just shows you that if things are designed properly, designed for everybody, then it's so easy to do, which is kind of how the world should be in the first place anyway. What was it like going on that trip? Because I, just thinking in my head, I think, I'd love to go sort of the Caribbean, or I'd love to go to the Maldives or Indonesia, which is where they also sail. But I suppose it's almost as beautiful doing those Western Isles and the trip that you did.
Yes, it was. I mean, it was a really, it was a beautiful trip. We saw dolphins playing as we were crossing the Irish Sea back from. We also went ashore in the Isle of Man, which I've never been to, and that was really nice. And then on the way from the Isle of Man back to Dublin, we had dolphins came out and played across the bow of the ship as she was underway. We saw whales. We saw a sea otter, or a few sea otters when I was doing my climb. We were at anchor at the time, and we could see them swimming across the bay. It was just so relaxing, and just inspiring. And the challenge came about from the discussions that we had whilst we were on watch, really, and just talking and getting to know people.
David, thank you so much for coming on the show this afternoon, raising cash for the Jubilee Sailing Trust. If people want to find out a bit more information about you, or would fancy donating, where can they go?
The easiest way is to go to our website, which is all one word, pullingtogetherupsnowdon.org.uk, or search on social media or on Google, and either my name and Snowdon or the Pulling Together Up Snowdon, and that should find it.
And we'll stick a link on our Facebook page, Dave Webster BBC, for those that have missed it. David, good luck. Thank you very much for that, and let us know how you get on.
Could I just be cheeky and just a quick one? We've unfortunately this week we've lost a couple of members of our team through illness or work commitments, and I wanted to just ask if there is anybody out there that is physically fit, is up for the challenge, and is a good walker, because it's a 9-mile round trip. If they're able or would like to be interested in joining our team, if they could get in touch with the website, please.
That sounds grand. Absolutely. And they can go and find more information on that Pulling Up Together Snowdon challenge. David, thank you very much for coming on the show. Good luck, and we'll speak to you very, very soon. Cheers. Bye.
Right, thank you.
That is David Bainbridge, who has Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, who is doing Snowdon the hard way, 24th of September. If you'd like to go and join him, then they would love to hear from you. Just put in Pulling Together Up Snowdon, and that is for the Jubilee Sailing